as a photographer does not equate to fixed schedules. In fact, a major part of being successful in the industry is being able to be flexible and adaptable when situations may not go as expected. Let's freeze the frame and follow Sister Andrea as she walks us through her process and what it's like to be a photographer.
Hey everyone, follow me on a day in the life of a wedding photographer who also performs her duties in the church. Alright, so the night before, I prepare all of my camera equipment and I go through my checklist. So I usually bring 2 Canon R6 cameras, 2 pocket flashes, Godox, 2 on-camera flashes, Godox, 2 light stands, my ring dish, I have so many things. I also bring my styling pad, batteries, all my SD cards, my 50mm lens, my 70 to 200mm lens, and I bring my wide lens, my 16 to 35, and I also bring my triggers for my flashes, as well as the pop sockets for my Godox flashes. If I forget something, I won't, because I have my handy dandy checklist. Alright, so after that, I also prepare all of my items for my performance in the choir. So I also take care of my choir robe, my hymnal. So after my performance, I perform Saturday mornings in the choir for worship service. And my weddings are usually in the afternoon. So my start times are usually at lunch. I go straight to my first venue, which is the groom. So I go to the groom's place of getting ready. I take photos of their details, photos of them mingling with their groomsmen, and single portraits with family members, mom and dad, siblings, if you have pets. And then I also take some solo shots of the groom getting ready on his own. After that, I go straight to the bride's getting ready venue. Sometimes I'm lucky and it's in the same venue, but other times I have to drive maybe 15-20 minutes to go to another place. But I also do the exact same thing. I take pictures of their details. I take pictures of them getting ready, mingling with their bridesmaids, their family, and their parents. And then I take some time to take portraits specifically for the bride. Clients or couples will ask for a first look. Some don't, so we go straight to the ceremony. Once the ceremony starts, I take pictures of the details, of like the aisle, all the little sorts of things. And then I take pictures of the actual ceremony. I take pictures of the entourage walking down the aisle. I have the big responsibility of taking the photo of the bride coming down the aisle, seeing the groom for the first time, and all those emotions. And then once the dad or the father of the bride gives away the bride to their future husband, I take those photos too, and those are always so emotional. And then we go through the ceremony and I take all the photos, all the important parts of the ceremony. It's the recessional, and everyone comes out and it's all happy. And after that, it's just a whirlwind of more photos. So we go straight into group photos, family photos right after the ceremony. After that, we go straight into portraits. To another location, I go with the bride and the groom and the entourage, and we take the first 30 minutes with the entourage, and then however much time I have left, I spend that only with the bride and groom. So we take solo shots of the bride and the groom, take a couple of shots together, getting all those artsy and vibey photos that we want. And then after that, we head over to the reception. Reception, we go straight into it. We're really busy because we usually have 5-10 minutes to just get photos of the reception area. So you're taking photos of the venue, you're taking photos of the welcoming, making sure we have photos of guests arriving, and most importantly, the decor, because I find that clients spend a lot of money on their decor. So during the reception, I take pictures of the one giving the speech, the bride and the groom, the reaction. So I try to get really close and intimate so I can get their reactions on what's being said to them and how that makes them feel, especially their guests. If the guests are getting emotional, then you know it's a good speech. And then we go right into ending the day. Right before I pack up, I tell the clients, I tell them that I'm leaving, and we say goodnight, and I pack up. When I get home after, I download all of the photos off of my SD cards and I back it up. I back it up to my computer, my hard drive. I back it up to an online cloud. And then after that, I fall asleep. And that's the end of my day for a wedding.
Before we begin our program, let's get to know our guest.
Zandria de Guzman. Yes, I'm a very happily married book club member. I'm currently a choir member and I'm a OIC choir leader. And I'm also a book club member, a book club officer.
As we grow up, one of the most common questions is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Through varying experiences and motivations, we can follow the path our Almighty God has placed us on. So deriving from that question,
I feel like when you're a kid, like you kind of like to explore your hobbies. Some people like to read, some people like to draw. Unfortunately, I don't know how to draw. I like to read, but not as much as some of my friends. But I picked up a camera because I saw a function that I wanted to try. It was a Canon camera back in 2004. It was a snap and shoot, and I just like taking pictures of my friends. I like to take pictures of random objects and like the sunset, and that's kind of just where my love for photography came. Actually, the reason why I started taking photos was because I was recruited to be a media officer. Back then, it was called GemNet, and I wanted to take photos, and that's kind of how I got my first camera. To be honest, it's actually not my full time. Being a photographer, I started during the pandemic, well before the pandemic, but it actually took off during the pandemic when I was laid off due to COVID. And there was an opportunity to shoot a wedding, and I guess they knew I kind of had a camera, and because they weren't looking to, I guess, let's be real, like, you know, when you're starting out, you don't really expect to get paid. You don't make a lot of money at first because you're learning. They asked me to shoot their wedding, and it kind of took off from there, where I was interested in doing more, shooting more weddings and kind of crafting my skill with that. You know, honestly, it was so terrifying because you have a camera and you're like, I must be professional, right? Like, you're kind of like delusional about it. You're like, okay, I'm going in and I'm gonna take a photo and people think I know what I'm doing. I kind of knew what I was doing. And I think that's the best part, because you're kind of scared and that kind of pushes you to try harder, if that makes sense. Leaving that day, I felt like a high. Like, I was so excited to edit. I was so excited to show the couple all the photos that I took on the day of their wedding. And like from that day on, I was like pumped. I just kept going, and I took more photos after that wedding. I think for me, it's schedule balance, work-life balance. I mean, this is like my second job. And a lot of my time really is devoted to church. So finding the time to do it, and a healthy balance with being creative and also performing my duties. So like, I know for me, like, I always choose duties first. I find that I'm saying no a lot more to photos or photo shoots because I want to take more time to perform my duties. But I think God sees that, because regardless of me saying no to other opportunities, there's so much more coming in. And it's like a great feeling knowing that even though I say no, Like I close the door to that opportunity. God sees that, I put my duties first, and that's when more blessings come in, which is, what they always say, right? In the Bible, and what they teach us is that if you put God first, He always provides. I find that if you don't try out that thing that you're interested in, if you don't, I guess, take that chance, if you don't step out of your comfort zone, then you'll never know, especially being, like with photography for me, self-taught, never took a class, a lot of YouTube, a lot of random articles to learn. You won't know until you try. And again, when it comes to trying out a skill or trying out a hobby, all of those skills, all of those opportunities come from God, and that's what I truly believe, that if God blesses you with skills, if God blesses you with opportunities, and there is something in the church that you can give back to, 100%, that's from God.
A picture is like a puzzle. Each part is carefully thought out in order to tell a story. Speaking of a puzzle, let's play a game. In this game, we have 3 participants, and in front of them is a photograph that Sister Zandy has taken. However, there's a twist. They've been scrambled. Each participant has 1 minute to complete the puzzle, and the first person to finish wins. You might think that being a photographer is just sunshine and rainbows, but to appreciate the upsides, you also need the negatives to develop. There are many myths surrounding individuals and the creative industry itself, from creativity being innate to it being a passion-driven business. It is difficult to break the negative connotations and stereotypes associated with being on the creative side of the world.
For me, it's capturing memories for people. I find that not a lot of people realize that if you have a camera, sometimes you never take photos of yourself. Like, I'm guilty of that. Like, I definitely don't. I never take photos of myself unless it's a selfie. But when I capture memories and moments for families or for couples and their milestones, giving back to them to see, like, oh, you guys are great, like, you guys are in love, or your family is beautiful, your children are so small. When they look back at it and they tell me how much they love it, like, for me, that's so rewarding, and it gives me more motivation to improve my craft and to ensure that love for photography never stops. Yeah, I would say. On the beginning, maybe not, but like, I find that when you get to know your couples or your families, you get to see what kind of family they are, or what kind of couple they are. If they're shy, If their kids are like really shy, you want to get them excited. So you kind of create stories for them to show their dynamics. And that's something that not a lot of people realize that they have until like they're documented. There are a lot of skills that I've transferred from being a multimedia officer to being a wedding photographer, a fashion photographer. I've learned so much, even just picking up a camera. I've learned so many things about settings, how to interact with people, to not be shy, to be able to get in front of people and not be afraid, you know. I know a lot of people find that intimidating, but I've gained a lot of confidence through that. Just like having an eye for moments. As a multimedia officer, aside from the standard photo shots that we are supposed to take for documentation, we also tell stories with, CFO activities, Care for Humanities, special projects that the church administration requires of us. And I find that it's great because something that I learned from a wedding, and I'm like, oh, that's a really great angle, you should try that. And that levels up me in my office because I can share that skill, I can share that idea with the other officers, and they learn something new, and it's a collaborative experience, right? And it's like, it never ends, like every day, every time that I perform my duty, I want to keep coming back to it because I'm learning so much doing other things, being a wedding photographer, and photographing other people. And that's something I always like to do, especially when I perform my duty. I think it's your duty, like kind of to give back. I mean, again, I always told the younger members when I was younger, I had no idea what I was doing. Literally, I had no idea what I was doing. I would just stand there and be like, hold this, or take this photo, and all of my photos would be blurry. But when you give that knowledge back to the new officers, when you help level up the officers that are learning or wanting to learn more skills, it's such a fulfilled feeling because nothing's wasted. Like again, like if you put your duties first and you give back and you teach what you know, it just furthers the church. It furthers the officers that are under your care. And it's amazing to see the team that we have in our district and what we've produced so far, and all of the experiences and the opportunities that they've gained from it. And it makes me feel great. Like, it's such a fulfilling feeling, and it's something I can never take away. Like, no one can take away from that from me.
Improving your photography skills involves mastering some fundamental concepts and techniques. Here are some basic tips from Sister Andrea to help you take better photos.
Okay, so let's do some portraits. I'm gonna focus straight on your chest upward, and then I want you to really intensify your eyes. Okay, so honestly, for photos like this, based off of your shutter speed, your ISO, it's super controlled now that we're using an external light like this guy. especially working with models. If you're in a pinch of time and you want to do something vibey, just playing around with your shutter speed and your ISO and your depth of field and your aperture, it really does a difference. So I'm gonna take a really close-up shot of Jonathan, and then I'm gonna show him real quick because it looks like a normal photo. Here, have a look. It looks like it's so clear, and then you have all the background stuff. So let's try something a little bit different now. So in terms of finding out shutter speed and your ISO and your aperture and all that kind of stuff, let's do some composure stuff. So if I could get you to do some of the poses I showed you earlier, I want to see you focused on making your body kind of elongated but has some shapes. So yeah, perfect. And then maybe pull out your leg out this way. Yeah, perfect. And then your front, you can probably slouch over. Yeah, so in composing a shot, you want to make it look interesting to the eye. I know usually the model is gonna look kind of weird, but honestly, the photo in the end looks really good. I love that. Let's go over here. Yes. That's actually pretty good, Jonathan. Keep at it. I'll show you. Right? I mean, you look weird there, but you know what I mean, though. Yeah. Like it feels weird, but it looks cool. Mm-hmm. Let's try another one earlier. Do you want to play around with the chair? Yeah, we can try that. Right? Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Let's try that. Yeah, don't even look at me. I just feel like I'm carrying this chair. This weird. Yeah, perfect. And then just that same pose. Yeah, perfect. Like waiting. I love it. Oh my goodness. I'll do it close up and then just like perfect. Look at that. The eyes on me. Gorgeous. Amazing. I'll show you real quick. Right?
Sure.
For no reason. That looks good.
Okay.
Doesn't it look good?
That's nice.
That's really nice. Sweet. So, just figuring out your shapes, figuring out how you can maneuver items, it really composes the photo really well.
Posing couples for photos can be a creative and enjoyable process. The key is to encourage natural interactions and genuine expressions. Here are some pose ideas for couples that you can try during a photo shoot.
Okay, so I want to do some poses for couples. I know it's your first time shooting with me, so I wanted to do 3 easy poses that anyone can do. So let's start off with the promenade. So the promenade is basically walking. It's a fancier word. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold hands. You can hold hands, you can hold onto his arm, and then you just walk together, not looking at me, looking at each other, and you're laughing and having fun, okay? So I'm gonna stand over here, and what I'd like to do is for you to try that out, okay? So 3, 2, 1, go. Gorgeous. Love it. And the next position or the next prompt I want to show you is called the hug. I'm going to do 2 different variations. The first one, we'll hug facing each other. So put your arms over top of his and then wrap your arms around her waist. And then we're going to get you guys to just lean in a little bit closer since you're married. And we'll do a little forward shot. Perfect. Okay? Okay, so for our last and third final segment, we'll do the airplane. So all you have to do is put both arms out like this, like an airplane, and interlock your hands, and you're gonna pretend to fly. Now start flying in the air, looking at each other, perfect. Maybe kiss her on the cheek, Justin, while you're perfect, gorgeous. Okay, and then you can start hugging, gorgeous, and moving around. Awesome. You wanna see? I'll show you this last photo. Love it. Yeah, that's great.
From a competitive industry and receiving renown, the road to becoming a photographer is difficult. However, as you become more experienced and creative, it becomes a job that keeps you and others excited. Through passion, hard work, and the blessing from our Lord God, you too can thrive in the creative industry. Wow, these are beautiful.
Troubles in this life may come, but that's okay. I'll still be happy anyway. This world may try to bring me down, but I won't mind. I'll still be happy all the time. For my Lord Jesus Christ has said, His power is made perfect in me. During times when I'm weak, I'm not alone.
And there you have it, dear viewers, our captivating journey into photography with Sister Zandria. Remember, passion, hard work, and blessings lights the way in the creative world. Thanks for joining us here on Livelihood segments of CFO Today International. I'm your host, Sister Patty Quintos. See you again next time. Bye for now.